Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Today is October 25th, 2017. Beautiful day here in Los Angeles. I hope wherever you are, you're making it a great day. We have a lot to discuss. This is Women's Empowerment Day. So, of course, we have a guest on who is going to blow your mind with respect to what she's done, how she's accomplished these things, and more importantly, our goal here today is to give you some takeaways. The takeaways are what you can do to be an entrepreneur, things that you should be aware of if you're a person and specifically a woman who's in business and you want to be successful. She definitely has some caveats of success that will help you. The goal here, of course, is to write those things down that she shares with you, and then to act, if you can, the greatest thing you can do is she's right here in Pasadena, California, to go to her show, it's not that, to go to her store. To go to her store where you'll get a show actually, because you're the show when you go there, because when you enter, she has a stylist there for you. She has someone there to do your makeup. I mean, it's a real full body salon experience. So if you really want to enhance your life, to enhance whatever your wardrobe is right now, to make it better, to update it, JADE'S Fashions in South Pasadena is the place to go. So I really want to tell you that she's going to be talking with us today, Miss Marianne Reyes. She has a lot to discuss. Now, before I bring on Miss Reyes, I want to give you just a quick medical moment. Our medical moment today is about defeat. What do you do when you have been trying something over and over and over and it's just not working? Well, that can be in our personal lives with relationships. It can be with work or relationships in work. It can be with family situations and family relationships. It could be with how we interact with our neighbors. It could be with a academic goal that you may have, a scholastic goal you may have. It could be a class that you're taking that's been just tough. Well, let's talk about that. The first thing I recommend is, one, don't feel bad about it. You're not the first one who's not made it in the class. Number two, give your best effort again. Number three, identify those things that have allowed you to not be successful. So let's say if you're taking a class, you have the same study group, and that same study group you have now are the same people that were in the study group with you before, and everybody failed that class or didn't pass, and now you're studying together with the same group, I would say, no, don't do that. I recommend getting another study group. The other thing is to talk to your professors, talk to your teachers, talk to your tutors, talk to all these other people that you may have access to give you some insights about what they did to pass the class. It may be just that simple to get that little tidbit of information that may be just enough for you to pass a class. Now, what about relationships? What do? You're in a relationship with a woman that you really like, or you're in a relationship with any person, man or woman that you really like. You want to be in that relationship with them, but it's just not working out. Either you're not feeling respected, they're not feeling respected, you're not happy, they're not happy. Well, what do? Why stay with someone that you really don't want to be with all the time? Making love to them is not a pleasure, it's more like a job. Well, that's why you want to continue to do that. You want to be with people who really love you and whom you really love, and that you want to really have a joyous, passionate, wonderful relationship with. And when that's not happening, then you have to say, you know what? This is what I need, A, B, C, and D. And then they have to tell you what they need, and then you see if you can synergistically make that work together so that everybody's getting what they need in a relationship. And the other thing is, it's so important that you remember this, and that is you definitely want to be with someone who is allowing you to be the best possible version of yourself. Whatever that is, whatever you choose to be, whoever you choose to be, whatever you choose to do, then make sure you're with someone who chooses those same things for you, because they want to augment your life. They want to propel you to greater happiness, greater peace, greater joy, greater passion. That's what we all want. I think we want those things because it makes us feel happy about our lives and who we are and what we're doing, and that our life is not in vain, that we're doing a job that we just can't stand. We don't like the people. We don't want to be there. You know what? Go out and make your life work for you. Go out and do what you love. Defeat is not an option. So the key here is try and try again. Identify those things, those situations, those people, those teachers that are not working for you, that will never work for you, and change them. Do something different. When it comes to academics, take a review class. Take review classes. Talk to your teachers. Talk to other people in those classes that have passed to see what they did. So you can actually take that knowledge, apply it to yourself, and do better. Relationships, have the conversation. Open, authentic, real conversation, you have to have it. Relationships are so complex anyway. We all have very complex lives anyway. So you want to be with someone that minimizes the complexity so that you can grow together, love together, be together, have an extraordinary life. That's what it's really about. It's about really having a phenomenal life. Because guess what? This is the life that you have. You want to live in the now, not in the what ifs, not is what happened. You want to live in the now. Because the now is really all you have. You have this 1 second right now. Tomorrow is not promised, So you want to make the best of it. Be in that happy place. Be in that place where you see that your life is a happy ending of joy, peace, goodness. You want to be in that place. That's where you want to go. Not in the worry, not in the stress, not in the I'm not good enough, I'm not handsome enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not thin enough, I'm not fit enough, I'm not fat enough, I'm not, don't even go through that. Just simply love yourself the way you are and don't accept defeat as an option, period. Why should you? Think about it. Why should you? How many people have not made it and still keep saying, you know what, I'm going to try again. I have to, one of my friends used to always say that the only person doesn't count is one that falls down and never gets up. They're never counted. And as a kid, I used to think, what a stupid statement. But now at 35 plus, I get it. So, yes, we all fall down, all of us. It's a human. However, it's the stronger human that gets up and tries again without feeling any type of self-worth issues, feeling less than, or feeling guilt. Often with defeat, there's a feeling of guilt or a feeling of being not worthy or being less than. So I want to tell you, diffuse those things, let them dissolve into their native nothingness, and know and believe that you are worthy, that you count, and that you're here to do great things on this planet. You really are. All right, so I hope that gives you a boost of energy. And again, remember, defeat is not an option. You keep going, you keep going, you keep going. The goal here is to go on this journey of inner realization, inner peace. And, one of my favorite quotes that I have for myself is that perfection is the goal and greatness is expected along the journey. For me, that works. I'm always thinking, how can I be perfect? But more importantly, how can I garner greater greatness of my inner self, my inner being, to be a better person, more loving, more kind, more forgiving, more passionate. That's what the goal is. It really is. Well, this is our Women's Empowerment segment. We have this it's the third Wednesday of every week, sometime the fourth Wednesday of every month, I should say. And today we're going to be talking to an entrepreneur who does amazing things in her community, but more importantly, I want you to hear about her story. Her story will just bring you to a place of, wow, I can do this too. Our goal here today is to give many entrepreneurs out there who have access to the show, to hear the show, especially women, to know that your dreams can come true. You can do it. You can make it happen. So I want to welcome to the show Marianne Reyes. Marianne, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much, Dr. Levi.
Oh, so happy to have you with us today. So let's talk about Jade Fashions in South Pasadena. But before we get to Jade Fashions in South Pasadena, I want to talk to you about Marianne Reyes. I want to ask you a lot of questions about yourself. Specifically, how did you finally come to that place in your life when you said, you know what, I want to open my own business? What brought you there?
Many years of working hard. I started in the corporate world many years ago, like over 30 years ago.
Wow, you look like you're 30.
Thank you.
Of course.
So, I was in corporate insurance, and I made it to a very successful level there. A lot of hard work, and I left the company as a senior vice president.
That's pretty amazing.
And just a little background on that, because this is all about women empowerment.
Yes.
For me, I started off, I did not have a college degree. So when people, think about how far I went and have gone and will still go,
Yes.
I just want people to know that, you can do whatever you want. You just have to work hard.
Absolutely.
College is, everybody should go to college. I mean, it's a way to get further and further yourself and your education. Nobody can take that away from you.
True.
But at the same time, working hard parallel with your education will bring you the success that you're looking for. So being in the corporate world,
Yes.
30 years ago, it was a man's world and in insurance, but people respected my knowledge, and
They respected you, of course.
they did, because, I knew my job, I knew my work. And so I was able to show people, and I was just able to work with the professionals. I was a professional. I always, I think some women feel that they're not as strong as a man, or there's just little things that will hold them back. But it's just getting yourself to believe in yourself.
Yes.
It's so amazing if you can just take that leap of faith and know that you are worth everything.
Absolutely.
You are an equal.
Right.
So through my corporate career, that's how I move forward.
Right.
And during my journey, I always did have a passion for fashion.
Yes. Yes.
But as a young adult, I loved fashion. I was always wanting to dress people, and we went out a lot, and it was always something in the back of my mind. And initially, I didn't know that I was going to open a women's boutique. I started thinking about different avenues to go. What could I would walk into work and talk to my girlfriends at work, my colleagues, and say, there's got to be something we can do. I know, this is a great job, this is a great place to be,
Right.
but what else is there? And especially after 30 years, it's kind of time. It was time for me to
Make a change.
To make a change.
Yes.
So after many months of thinking about what to do, I kind of just went back to the basics. What did I want to do as a kid? What was my dream?
Right. What were your passions?
What was what was
Right.
it? Instead of I was trying to invent something
Right.
that I thought I could be passionate about. But I went back to that, and it was fashion. So I talked to my husband, and I said, look, this is going to be a big thing for you, but this is what I want to do. I want to.
And what was his initial reaction when you said, I'm gonna leave this 9-to-5 cookie cutter job where I've been and I know the ropes, I know the people, I'm the VP. What was his reaction initially?
He said, do you really want to do this? Do you really want to leave that structure, leave that security?
Yes.
And there was a lot of security. But I said yes, and when I told him yes, he knows me. I'm a very strong woman.
Yes.
I like challenges, and when I told him yes, he said, "Okay, let's do this."
He said that.
Yes,
Let's do this.
let's do
so
this.
that meant let's do it together.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how did you feel when you had that support at home to know that, okay, yes, I want to do this, and now I have someone who really wants to support me and fortify me to help us attain this together?
Well, it's a very loving feeling. I felt very secure.
Right.
And I felt that our relationship, I've been married 31 years.
That's my age almost. Go
and
ahead.
and we've been together 37 years.
Right.
So, he's my partner in crime. And like you talked about relationships, you need your relationship with your partner needs to be fun and simple and
honest and passionate.
And passionate.
Yes.
All that comes together. So when that other person says, "This is what I want to do," it's okay.
Absolutely.
Because you feel that. You obviously want to be successful, but you have that backing that it's okay. They're going to catch you. They're going to be there working with you.
Exactly. They're going to help you to get where you want to go, because helping you is helping themselves.
Absolutely.
And they want you happy.
Yes, they want, you want each other to succeed in whatever you want to do. So you have to let the other person grow. And there's different times in the relationship that you are doing separate things.
That's true.
And you support those things that the other person's doing.
I think it's great to have that support, but I also think you really show the strength of and the fact that, yes, college is important. However, college is not the only road to success, because college isn't for everybody. I have a few cousins that are extremely successful that did not go to college, who were clear that after high school, that was enough. They just did not want the structure of going further, and they felt they had what I call the common entrepreneurial sense to say, you know what, I want to own myself. I want to have my own business. It may be a struggle initially, but you know what? I'm going to take the risk and believe in myself and do it. And you really did that.
Absolutely.
You did it really well.
And that's where I started flourishing, because when I was in high school, I wasn't the greatest student. It was really difficult for me. It was a struggle. And when I started working when I was about 13 years old, and as soon as I started working, I found it. It was me. That's who I was. I could go to that job. I'm not supposed to be actually working at 13, but I was.
But you did it. Yes,
yes.
You did it.
It was a small business,
Exactly.
and I'd go in after school, and it was a T-shirt shop actually.
Right.
And so
Again, more fashion.
Yes. And once I found that that's what made me successful. That's what made it wasn't that schooling that I was struggling. So it was so much knowing me that once I started working, it was just I was on.
Right. You were there. That was like the niche that you were waiting for. And it felt like a fit.
I was so on. And so from there, my jobs were always from that point on, it was always I was going up that ladder. I worked at it used to be Save-Ons. I worked at the Department of Motor Vehicles. I worked at a law office, but all the way through, it was just moving forward. And that whole background is what made me say I could actually be an entrepreneur. It took me a long time,
right?
But I wish I would have done it sooner. But making that decision, there's a lot of fear that goes.
It's a big decision.
Yeah,
because you're leaving the check, you're leaving the insurance, you're leaving the security, you're leaving the pension. All of that is saying, you know what, I'm going to make myself, and I'm going to own myself.
Right. So it's a very scary thing. I would suggest for people that have that in their soul, that they know kind of that's it, yes, work is okay. This is what they do. But if you have that in your soul, I would have started much younger, and I probably would have done a parallel thing. I would have kept working, but I would have been working on my
exit strategy, basically. How are you going to leave there and do your own stuff?
Yes, and so you don't, I did it kind of. I mean, I'm sure people do it all the time, but you could do it a little easier. Right.
But one thing I'll say this, I'm sure you'd agree, is that the struggle of becoming an entrepreneur and going through those challenges made you even stronger, because once you overcame those issues, you knew how to get around them or through them or over them or under them.
Absolutely. And that's, part of taking that leap is when you go in, you do have to know that it's going to be a struggle getting started.
Especially initially, right.
Absolutely. And there's people that a lot of people around you are saying, why are you leaving that job? You know, are you crazy?
Right.
You know, you worked so hard to get that far.
And how would you respond to them when you have not necessarily the haters, but the people that are challenging your sanity almost to say that, why should you, this is a great job, you're going to have great benefits, just stay here and just eke it out.
Right. For me, it was, I understood that. But
because that's where they were.
That's where they were,
right.
You know, and that's where, you know, I was for a long time.
Right.
But there's something missing. If you're that person that wants to open a business or that has that passion for something, there's something missing in your soul. So you can, you know, people can tell you, you know, why are you doing it? Because something's missing in your soul. And if you don't do it, it would have been one of those things. I would have been 10 years from now.
Yes.
Every day as I go to work. Oh,
yeah, I don't want to be there.
What if I, you know,
exactly.
what if? And even, you know, failure is not an option. But even if I went a different direction with my business.
Right.
As I'm going forward. I don't regret anything. You know, I don't regret making that move. I know that I will, if I do insurance again, which, you know, I kind of want to now since I've been away from it for a little while. So now I have other options.
Exactly.
And I would not have had other options. So I really think that when people tell you, wow, you're crazy, it's like, you know, when it's you, that you have something missing.
Exactly. But the great thing about your story and what you've done is that you had the strength of character and the inner fortitude to know that I want to make this difference. And then you said, I'm not going to think about it. I don't want to be on that train of I wish I would have, could have, should have.
Yes.
You just say, you know what? I'm jumping all in. And you had the greatness and wonderfulness of your husband. What's his name anyway?
It's Javier.
Well, Javier, great job supporting the great lady that you have here. It's really wonderful, though, that he was right on board with you. It's just it's fascinating to hear about, like I call it, the synchronicity of relationships. When you're with someone and it works, you know it works, and they know it works, and it's just a good thing.
It's a great thing. And I think people, I hear, and we hear it all the time, marriage, relationships, it's a lot of work. You have to work. Well, it shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be that much work.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, honestly,
Right.
it
should be some.
Yeah. It should,
but not drudgery.
Right. And so I crack up sometimes, and I'm like, wait a minute. You know, let's think about this. Does it really work? I mean, I love being with this person.
Right.
I wake up and I'm like, okay, what are we gonna do today?
Right.
Or, that's, it's passion. It's
exactly.
It's so much more than work.
Right, exactly. Right. Now, I also want to ask, what did your other family members think about, like your mom and your dad, your brothers and sisters? Were they like as elated as you were when you said, hey, guys, guess what? I'm going to open up a place, and I think I'm going to call it JADE'S Fashions. What was their reaction?
Well, they know me. So they know my parents have both passed. But my parents and themselves were pretty much entrepreneurs in their time.
Yes.
They both had jobs.
Yes.
But throughout that, they their thing was property. So they bought a little duplex, and they lived on one side and then they rented the other. And after my sister was born, they were able to move to another house that they bought. And they kept the duplex and they rented that out. And so throughout their years, they were entrepreneurs.
Yes, they were. Yes,
and
they were business owners.
They were business owners.
Right.
But people, I don't think they saw it that way back then. But so it kind of, I think it was in me. I'm the youngest of 5. And so I hung around with my parents I was younger. My mom had me when she was 43. So I was there with them and watching them in business. And I always was just very intrigued, like, how do you do that?
Right.
And what they would always tell me, one of their things that they would always say is, to be successful, and if you're in a relationship, in a marriage, you always want to save one person's income, and then you work on, you spend with the other income.
I love that. Yes.
And if you could keep that going, you got the best of both worlds.
Because you can save.
Yes. So, just having them as my parents, and my dad was a World War II veteran, so he was pretty tough. He's like, "Come on,
he was tough.
Yeah. You fall, you get up."
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Exactly.
So that's the background. And so when I told my family that I was going to open the business, they weren't very surprised because they knew I was always like trying to pick on something to do.
Right, and to do things that were very interesting to you, and also that you would have a true passion for.
Yes.
That's just really just amazing. Why did you choose Pasadena and not Venice or Altadena or Palm Springs or West Los Angeles? Why Pasadena?
Well, I grew up in San Gabriel. Okay. And
I love that area.
Yeah, so I grew up there, and just when I was looking at venues, I wanted, and now I live in El Sereno, LA area. So I'm right in the middle of San Gabriel and LA.
Yes.
And I wanted to be close to home because I worked in LA, I worked in Santa Monica, and I used to live in Pomona, and I had crazy commutes as
That's
I
a
was.
real commute there, from Pomona to Pasadena or West Los Angeles.
Yes, it was. I was that workaholic when I was in corporate starting off because I had to work hard. So I would get up at 4:30 in the morning, leave my house by 5:30, do the 2-hour commute there, 2-hour commute back, not spend time with my husband and my daughter. And so when this came up, it was like, I want to be close to home. I don't want to commute. I want to do all the things that you can choose to do, because now it's going to be my business. And when people say, well, you should do this, why?
Right, because it's your business.
This is my business, right?
Exactly.
And so picking, it's border South Pasadena, Alhambra. And so that's right where I need to be.
It works for your life. It works for you.
Yes, and that's what I was focused on. And it's a little bit off the beaten path. I'm not in an area where there's restaurants. There's not a lot of foot traffic. So I understood that going in, and my husband's like, you do realize that, you're not in this spot where you're going to have a lot of people walking in and out.
Right.
But there was something about that spot that I felt I can make it a destination.
Right.
I want people to want to come here, to want to get away, because even if you're in an area where there's a lot of traffic, it's busy.
Right.
And it's kind of, my hope is that people come and it's kind of you get away.
You want to give them really an oasis of peace and luxury and fashion.
Yes. So that's why I chose that particular spot.
I think it was a great choice. I mean, one thing we can say about your store is it's beautiful, it is welcoming, it's warm, it is a place where you can go and really be, I want to say, just transformed into the best possible version of yourself.
Pampered.
That's a better word. I love that. Yeah, exactly. Pampered. You can go to JADE'S Fashion in South Pasadena and truly be pampered. Now, I want you to share with our audience, this is really, really important, Ms. Reyes. What are 4 things that you would share with a fellow entrepreneur who's thinking about it? They have the entrepreneurial mindset, but they haven't really made the choice of, yes, I'm going to go out and make this happen. What are 4 things you would share with them to, 1, overcome their fears, and to be motivated to really pursue what they really want to do?
Well, the biggest thing is that fear. If you could step outside of yourself and know that you will be okay. You will be okay. At the end of the day, however it goes, you will be fine.
Right.
And you'll be worse off if you don't take that step. Because if it's in you, you're going to think about it, and you're going to continue to think about it. So, the first thing is really let that fear go. Make it work for you. Make that fear energy, and take that fear and turn it around and get yourself some energy, and just move forward. There's a lot of, obviously, there's a lot of things that go into opening a business, and I think I did everything probably backwards, and that's why I can talk about it, because everybody's like, oh, you should pick your location first, and you should be in a heavy traffic area, and you should have a business plan. Oh my gosh, yes, a
Right,
business plan, right?
Right.
Did I have a business plan? I had a small business plan,
Right.
but not the way.
It wasn't an outline, a real like 4 or 5 page outline of what you want to achieve.
Right, and it wasn't the statistics and who's my customer and
The
what
demographic
the
statistics.
Yeah,
Right.
that is important. I don't want to like say, oh, it's not.
Right.
But for me, had I really gone that direction, the fear would have got me again.
Mm-hmm.
It really
So
would
what
have.
you did then, Mrs. Reyes, you actually used the fear and you really just transmuted that into motivation and then used that motivation as ultra determination to get to where you want to go.
Absolutely. Yes, that's I had to do it that way for me because again, I wasn't that that book person. I was always get in, do the job. When I would get jobs, I always had jobs. People would always refer me because I was a great worker. I'm a
Right.
great worker.
Right.
So I knew that was my strength. And as I took a job that went, you're growing, you're building,
Yes.
you're getting
Yes.
higher positions, and every
Yes.
time you do that, it's scary because they're saying you could do all these things, and you doubt yourself. Oh, can I really do that? Should I really go for this position?
Because that's more responsibility, maybe more money,
But more
it's also more responsibility.
Absolutely.
And you have to perform at a higher level, of course, every time.
Exactly. So that fear of, can I do this higher level performance? And all the time it was, yes, I can.
Right.
Yes, I can. And so, boom, you go and you do it. And so that's the same thing as far as going towards that entrepreneur side.
So of the 4 things, the first you would say, number 1, is to overcome the fear and let the fear be transformed or transmuted into an energy of motivation. And secondly, you would say to do it, to get involved, to make it happen.
You just have to make it happen. And find out when you go in business for yourself, you are in business for yourself.
Yes.
Okay,
It's you.
It's you. That's who it is. And while I have my husband who's just 100% supportive, I have good people around me.
Yes.
I would say, maybe I should have done a little bit of getting more of a team together, because I didn't get a team together. But it was okay because you learn.
So your team initially was just Marianne Reyes. It was you.
Yes.
That's tough.
Yes.
Because then you're secretary, president, treasurer.
Everything.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So I would say I'd say that's something that a third thing is take a look at your who's going to be on your team, because it'll be a lot easier if you get a team together, and even if it's a team for moral support.
Yes.
Or a team that maybe you have a friend that's in banking, or maybe you have a friend that has a business, or whatever their expertise are.
Right.
And you can throw things and ask questions and just feel a little bit more together with other people.
And feel more supported.
Yeah, supportive, and I think it would help a lot if that happened.
And I also say the great thing about having a team is you have other individuals whom you trust and you can bounce ideas around with. And I think in general, if you have 2 other people plus yourself, 3 people on the team, then you have 3 brains instead of 1. And then you have all these other creative ideas that can really get everybody trying to build to the next level.
Yes, and that's a good point that, I'm talking about a team. I'm talking about, people that, that can be, helpful to you.
Yes.
But as you brought out here, find people that are in your business already.
Yes.
And that's what I didn't have the other fashionistas, or I didn't have those people that I was bouncing ideas. I was just doing it.
Wow. That's really tough, because I was going to ask you earlier, who were your mentors? And sounds like it was you. You were the mentor.
Yes, I was.
Wow, that's so amazing to me that you had the dream, no business plan of any substance, you would say. It wasn't a really big one. But then you said, okay, I want to do this. And then you just went out and you did it. And I love that statement you made that you said, hey, I just did everything from reverse.
Yes.
So you went from, the end of success to the front. How do I make it happen? I think that's a wonderful, wonderful story, because I think it really shows your strength of character, that you were in a place to say, okay, how do I do this? I know I want to do it. And then you just make it happen.
Right. You have to make it happen. Nobody can make it happen for you. That's
life.
That's the number one thing. Don't expect that somebody's going to come up and say, oh, this is the way you do it. I mean, for me now, I love to help people, empower women, anybody that needs help that's going in that direction.
Yes.
Because I did everything backwards, so I can tell you, maybe a better way to do it.
Right.
But that's where I would love to talk to people and let them know kind of the ups and downs. You have to know how to pivot. You go in with these strong ideas that this is what your store is going to be and this is how you're going to do it. And then once you get there and things aren't really happening the way you're planning it,
right,
you have to pivot.
Yes.
You have to look and say, wait a minute. You can't let yourself say, no, this is the way I said it was going to be.
Right.
And that's really, important is change. Change is constant.
I love that. So the 4 things you would say again, I just want to review them with everyone, including myself, is number 1, take fear and transmute that into motivation. Secondly, is to really just do it. Third is to make a great team if you can. And fourth is to be flexible, to pivot when you have to, and to keep the ego deflated. No matter what you think it has to be, if something is not working, then to make those appropriate changes to make things work.
Absolutely. That ego thing is really, you have no ego, okay?
Right. Not in business. No. I always think that business is really one of these places that business there's the art of business and the science of business, and then there's what I call the show of business.
Yes.
And I think all 3 of those have to work really strategically well together to achieve success.
Absolutely. And enjoy the journey. I started, my business has been open just about 2.5 years.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's big.
And for the first part of it, I was, you're really strong. You're starting. Everything's new. Everything's your mind is just starting this business.
Right.
And then there's a point where, okay, it's reality. You got to make this work.
Right. You have to make the money. You have to make the overhead.
Yes.
You have to pay yourself. You have to pay the bills on time. You have to get the right buyers, and it's not a joke.
It's not a joke. It's not easy.
No.
And so when that starts setting in a little bit, I kind of I got very I guess like nervous, and it started like, oh boy, okay, what how is this going to work? What am I
that can really promote anxiety.
Yes, the anxiety. So it's like, take that step back, breathe.
Yes.
Breathe, because this is what you wanted to do.
I agree.
And you're doing what you wanted to do.
And you're the boss.
And you're the boss. So make it enjoy the journey, because you tend to go off your path and you're not looking at what you're really accomplishing. To be open 2.5 years, it's an accomplishment.
To be open 6 months.
Right.
And to stay above water, that's an accomplishment. For
Yes.
2.5 years, phenomenal.
So enjoy the journey, and don't let it pass you by and just get caught up with the job, because that's why you're here. You didn't want that job. You want to make your own calls, and that's so important to me, is like, look back, look at the journey, and I'm excited about where it's going to take me, because I've met so many wonderful people through this.
Sure.
And it's just amazing, and that's the difference between the corporate world and the entrepreneur world.
Right.
Because it's just completely different. You're the corporate world, you do your job, you're very successful in your job, but you know what you're doing every day. You know where to go and how to find the information and get the answers, and help your clients and things like that. On this side, there's more to it. There's more finding people that can be empowering and empowering people, and there's so many successful entrepreneurs out there. and wonderful people that want to help.
Yes.
It's
They want to share what people think are secrets. They're not secrets. They want to share them with you so that you can be successful also.
Exactly. I mean, that's the biggest difference, is that truly people want to help you. They want to see you succeed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yourself, I mean, you do a lot of activism with respect to helping other entrepreneurs. What are some of the most interesting questions that they ask you?
Well, I think it's all around that. A lot of it is about that business planning. You know, did you do a business plan, and how did you do that business plan? And you know, sometimes I'm just like, I feel bad because maybe it's like maybe maybe I should have done it. I had a good answer for you,
right.
And you know, and I don't want to have people go the wrong direction,
right.
But I just have to tell them how I did it. Yeah,
right.
And it's, you know, it's not for everybody.
Right.
But that's, you know, the biggest thing is you know, getting past that plan and moving it into reality.
Right.
And that's where I really, I think the biggest part is just moving it to reality. It's you have to do it.
Yes, because you're the boss.
Literally. You're the boss. And there's things that for the outside world, like, because we're so used to from the corporate side, or people are used to
yes.
9 to 5,
yes.
5 days a week. And so my store actually is open on Wednesdays through Saturdays. And people say, well, why aren't you open 7 days a week? And I say, because it's my business.
Right.
And because I can be,
right.
you know,
I can do that.
I can do that.
Yes.
And being, you know, in the corporate world for so many years, you are ginned that way. You know, you have to be at work at 6 o'clock in the morning and work, you know, all these crazy hours, and sometimes the weekend. So at this time in my life, having my business, I'm able to make those calls. I want that family time. I have a granddaughter now.
Oh, congratulations.
And
that's great.
That's where Jade's came from. It's her name is
Oh,
Jade.
really? That's your granddaughter.
Uh-huh.
Fantastic.
And so being able to make those calls, look outside of the box, and just when people come to the store and they see what they get when I'm open,
yes,
they get it.
Right.
You know, they understand.
And let's talk about some of the things that you offer there, because it's a beautiful place. You offer so much. Let's talk about some of the things that you have there at Jade's.
Well, it's, you know, I want it to be an experience, and I want it to go back to the way things were back in the day. You know, the Nordstroms, when you go in there and people say, hey, how are you?
Yes.
You know, how was your day? Let me help you find this. But
real
truly
TLC.
Yes, and
Yes.
truly want to.
Right.
You know, we go to stores now, and a lot of stores, you know, unfortunately, you walk in and the salespeople kind of go the other way.
right. They don't want to work.
Right.
They don't want to work.
I'm like, oh, you know, hi. You know, that
Hi,
kind of
but please
thing.
don't talk to me.
Right.
I don't want to have to ring up anything.
Exactly. So that, you know, so it's like I want, you know, the full experience of coming in. Personal shopping is so much fun. You know, I have a lot of women that come in and you know, I spend hours. You know, it's funny how like new customers will walk in and they'll say, I'm just looking. And I'm like, great, you know, take your time, look around. But once we start engaging, a customer could be there 3 hours, and they're like, oh my God, what time is it? I'm like, yeah, right.
That's because of that personal attention that you give them. How wonderful is that?
Yeah, and that's where, you know, it all comes down to that personal relationship. You know, actually building relationships. I want to know what you like. I want to know, you know, your preferences and colors, and you know, I have my own views of you know what I can give suggestions, but you have to start with what your customer likes, what they want.
You really do. Now, I know our producer for the show actually, went to Jade's and said that she had an extraordinary experience. She said there was a makeup artist, and there was a stylist there.
Mm-hmm.
She talked about that. She said it was just unbelievable. So how long have you had a stylist there and a makeup person?
I've had that for about 6 months. And what we do also is we do by appointment as well.
Really? Now, how long in advance they need to have an appointment?
they can just call JADE'S and schedule an appointment. It could be 2 days, 3 days in advance.
Oh, really? So, see, I was thinking that it had to be like a month in advance. That's not the case.
Oh no, because there's a lot of hours in a day, and I try to make it convenient for my customer. If they can only come in at 7:00 at night, I'll be there at 7:00 at night.
Really?
Yes. Or if they want to come in at 8:00 in the morning, my hours are specific.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
that's pretty amazing.
My hours are specific. They're the 11 to 7, but that's just the regular store hours. Customers, whenever they want to come in, I'll be there for them.
See, that's the type of thing that people really want to hear. Whatever time works for them will work for you. I would come to a place like that and spend money, because I think it's wonderful that you're that dedicated to your business that you will be there whenever it's convenient for the patron.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That's what we're there for, and having the makeup artist and the stylist, and if you're an entrepreneur and that's what you want to do, you have a special place for people to come.
Exactly. And one thing about that, they're going to be there for a place like yours. I mean, and what about this? What about the decor? Why did you choose that decor?
Well, I wanted a place that just said style, and it's a place that is elegant, but yet comfortable.
Right. And beautiful. Because it is extraordinarily beautiful there. You walk in, you greet everything from the way it smells to the way it looks to all the colors and textures. It's an extraordinary store. It really is an experience. It really is.
And that's what we're shooting for. And I'm there to help women, and we're actually doing some events there at the store. And we're doing
what type of events do you do there now, like makeup application and styling?
And we also go more into being empowering women. We're going to have an event that we're going to have a panel, and it's kind of coaching on the go per se.
I love that. That sounds like a great book, Coaching on the Go. I
right?
love that.
And so they're going to have a panel, and we're going to have stylists and different hosts. Cecilia Moda is going to be there.
Well, she's wonderful. We had her on our show,
Yeah, so
she's absolutely great.
She's going to be there, and then Diva Rochelle, Janet Rodriguez. And
I know Janet. She's our producer.
Absolutely. So, just bringing women together, and we're going to give them other women help. We're going to help women. They can ask questions. And that's what that store is all about. It's just bringing people together.
I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful what you're doing. I think the store is impressive and beautiful. I think you're just a wise soul to share everything you have with our audience. Now, again, I want to review everything that you said. Again, the 4 basic things are, again, transforming fear into motivation. 2 is to just do it. 3, of course, is to build a team. And 4 is to be flexible. You have to pivot, but just keep going forward no matter what.
Yes.
Wow, I just love it. You could not have said it better. You're just really amazing, Ms. Reyes.
Thank you so much.
I just thank you. Now, what about this? How can people interact with you on social media? Do you have a Facebook page and website? What are those?
Yes, I have Facebook, and it's jadesfashions.com. My Instagram is jades_fashions. And my webpage is jadesfashions.com.
Great.
And so
what about, do you have Instagram? Are you on Instagram?
Instagram is jades_fashions.
Fantastic. And what's the address and the phone number for Jade's Fashion?
It's 1959 Huntington Drive.
1959 Huntington Drive.
And that's Alhambra, South Pasadena. So I am like
right on the border.
The sidewalk is South Pass and the store is Alhambra. So I have to say both because people don't. The address says South Pasadena.
Got it. And what are the hours again? Because I like people to go and definitely come and see you all, because it's amazing.
It's Wednesdays through Fridays, 11 to 7. Saturdays, it's 11 to 6. And you can always call me at 626-999-7727. Call me, set up an appointment. Just tell me when you want to come in. I'll be there, and we'll do the full makeover if you like.
Got it. So again, the number is 626-929-77.
999-7727.
Awesome. Awesome. I want to thank Ms. Reyes for being with us today. This was really a wonderful show, very much empowering for, I think, everyone, not only for women who are entrepreneurs, but for anyone who has an entrepreneurial mindset. She's really given some caveats of how you can change and make that dream a true reality, because she did it, and she did it with a lot of chutzpah. She did it with a lot of strength of character, and now she's just phenomenal success. So I want to thank you, Ms. Reyes. You were just amazing. You made today phenomenal, so thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, this is Dr. Levi. Please join us on all our social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch TV, and of course, it's just my name, Dr. Levi Harrison. Levi like the jeans, Dr. Levi Harrison. So I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for joining us. And remember, make every day a great day, because every day is a gift. This is Dr. Levi. Have a great week. Bye.